It's Saturday, and I'm sitting alone in my apartment at my desk staring at my computer. Like 99.999% of every other Saturday. And I went to get a pizza because I still don't know how to eat right. And, Dartmouth is graduated or graduating, and this always happens when I drive in on the weekend to get my unhealthy food that I eat alone in my apartment, and I see all of them holding hands, walking down to the river to swim, sitting out on the green with friends, or going back to their dorm so they can probably do stuff later because it's a Saturday. And I get my pizza, and I go back to my apartment because I don't have any friends. And honestly, I don't think I've ever had friends, not like real friends. I mean, obviously I had like friends in high school and college, but it was the most superficial level. If I was in class, I would have people to talk to. People liked me. I don't think I was a totally unlikable person. And I would do after school activities and people would talk to me, and I had people that I was close to. But we never did anything besides that. I never did anything after school in high school. If I did, it was rare. Like the times, like prom, mom had to ask a friend's son to ask me, and then he left early with another girl, which at the time I thought was hilarious. Because I could tell a story to my friends, and maybe that would be interesting. I'll see him on Instagram, but we've never hung out with any of my friends from high school. Same thing with college. I mean, it started senior year, but, the second people started doing stuff on the weekends, I was always alone in my dorm room, watching all the other kids walk to the parties. I've never had a friend that I would just spend time with and tell everything to. I really thought I got close with Caitlin and Molly and Katrina and Aaron. And it's been 2 years. I haven't made a single friend. And there was a girl I met on Bumble, but I never went anywhere and she moved. And you know what? It's my fault. Because, I complain about not having anyone, but the minute anyone does come to my life and I have a chance, I do nothing with it. She invited me over to her apartment. We ate. I could have talked to her, but every time she texted me, I would wait like a day to respond. And when we made plans, I would always feel awkward about it because all I wanted to do was be back in my apartment.
This is gonna sound fucked up to say, but I really love this video.
You're an introvert. I wouldn't say introvert, but
I think what I love about this video
maybe
is like she knows she has a problem and she knows her own role in the problem.
Yep.
Like I'm watching this, like there's something I sympathize with because like I moved a lot after the military. I was never in one place for long, so like building long-lasting friendship wasn't the easiest. Thankfully, there's certain hobbies I was able to scrounge, but I understand. And I think one thing I learned over time is like these relationships take time and effort, and much like relationships with intimate partner, people often think that their friendships are just supposed to happen, but the reality is they require effort, they require time, they require presence, they require intentionality, and a lot of people take that stuff for granted. And so when they're not able to foster these kinds of relationships, it's like it doesn't really happen. Sometimes people don't have friends. It's like, well, how many times have you shown up to their special events? How many times have you guys reached up to spend time offline? How many times have they messaged you and you've really messaged in a timely manner, or you've reached out to them? And vice versa. It has to be mutual too, obviously. Can't be one-sided because then you just feel neglected as you're putting effort to somebody who doesn't. So I love the fact that she acknowledges that she's had opportunities, but she let them slip through her hands and it's caused a lot of her suffering. Not so I go, oh, it's your fault. But it's like, if you understand the way you contribute, there's ways in which you can find remedies to that. So the self-awareness is, I think, what I'm appreciating about this, because too many people get online and complain about these issues, or they vent about these issues in a valid way, but then they don't really self-assess and see the ways in which they're destructive to their own outcomes that they want.
Whenever she said that, I was waiting for that because that was the first question that popped up in my head. It's like, so what did you do though? Yeah. That's the first thing, because you have to entertain those things. You know what I mean? So if you have the friends and you have people that you call friends, I mean, which is, by the way, friends is a term that is used too vaguely. True. It's too much. Some of the people that you call friends are not friends. Okay, you have to make the difference between an acquaintance, a job person that you know, someone that you, a colleague. There's a difference between friend, colleague, acquaintances. And there's a lot of people that I know that's like, oh, that's my friend. I can't believe it did. Why? Because it's my friend? Well, if you think about it, you just know that bitch from work. At the beginning of a relationship, you're going to water a plant, you're going to water a plant, you're going to water a plant a lot because it's in the growing phases. It needs to get that strength so that whenever you forget to water it once or twice, because sometimes people are going to be busy. That's what I mean by not watering your plant. People are going to be busy. You're not going to be able to go out with your friends, or life is going to be happening on their side, on your side. Things are going to be overwhelming. You're not going to be able to reach out so that plant, your relationship, doesn't die out, because you already watered it and you fortified it and it has all the nutriment to grow, so that whenever you don't have time to water it, it's still going to be there. So when you come back to it, you're like, hey, you know what? Now I got more time. I water it. It's still going to be able to flourish and to grow. You understand? Your friendship are not going to be always at a high. It's going to be sometimes at a low. Sometimes you're not going to have time.
In my apartment, then I'm in my apartment, I'm alone. So it's like, what the fuck is wrong with me that I complain about this and then I make no effort to try to change it? I mean, ever since I started applying to grad school, I gave up on trying to make friends here. And it's noticeable. My landlord, Elaine, keeps commenting on how all of her past tenants do things on the weekends, basically calling me like a friendless loser, which is true, but like, to hear her just say that to me was really hard.
I don't know if your landlord was trying to call you a friendless loser. It could be. The way I understood it was like, student tenants are generally very messy and go out and make a lot of noise and do a lot of stuff, and it's refreshing having a tenant who doesn't cause problems, who doesn't host parties, and who doesn't come back late. Now, you're allowed to internalize it? I don't know, so I could be wrong. But that's how it sounded to me.
Bro, you are 100% right.
We all appreciate a tenant who doesn't cause problems.
Know as a landlord how it is to have people? You notice when people are messy, or when they give you back the apartment and you go in that bitch and you're like,
how is there shit on the ceiling? But maybe this landlord's different. He's like, yo, you ain't got no friends, loser.
Maybe.
That's a crazy. That's a crazy landlord.
That's crazy.
I know me, if I was a landlord, I would want somebody who keeps to themselves and doesn't cause problems and is very clean.
100%.
But it's me.
Everyone tells me I'm young and I have time, but it's still hard. So gross. I'm sorry. I knew I was emotional. I didn't think I'd cry like this. I just don't know what's wrong with me. That I can't make it work. That I'm just lazy when it comes to making friends. I just want it to be easy, you know? When you just find that person that you're with all the time.
So, see, that's the operative word. You want it to be easy. It's like, for a lot of people who maintain friendships very seamlessly, it's because they've been doing it for so long, so it's easy to them. It's kind of like going to the gym. Some people find it very difficult to go, and others it's super easy. But they've also made it part of their routine, so they've adapted to their schedule and their time environment and made the commitment. But it is an effort, even for the people who it's easy to go to the gym. So they're just used to doing it. For a lot of people, they think friendships is supposed to happen. That's not the way it works. At least, like, even family relationships, they require effort. If you don't reply to your family, if you don't show up, if you don't make an effort to respond, like, a lot of families will stop being that close. Same thing with relationships. Like, none of these things are different. So me hearing her language, I understand what she's wanting. But what she's wanting is not gained the way she wants it. She knows the problem. She's just not ready to take the steps. And she wants it to be easy because she wants the benefit of a friendship. But the labor that's involved and the actual work, she's not ready to do.
It's just like it's like comedy. It's for some people. I know some people that are generally funny. They funny in real life. Like you meet them, they're always funny. You always have the thing to make you laugh. It's funny for them, and they do comedy, and they're doing good. And even for them, that it's still funny and it's easy to be funny for them. They still have to work.
They still have to show up.
They have to
book up. And they have to travel.
And have you seen someone that is generally funny but doesn't want to do the work?
They don't go anywhere.
It lasts, but not for a long time. And after that, it fades. Yeah. It fades, and all the people that are not so funny or less funny that do the work, that show up, can actually surpass them. Yeah. And I've seen that numerous times. Whether it's easy for you or it's not, you still gotta put the work in, and you gotta show up, and you gotta do this. You gotta do these things. Unpleasant, but yeah.
All of the Dartmouth students in their really cute outfits, walking around downtown, holding hands, walking down to the river to swim, walking to their apartment.
Sorry, geez, what you got?
Sitting out on the green with friends.
You're actually so fucking stupid. You're actually so goddamn dumb, bro. That shit's crazy.
Why you gotta?
Nah, that's crazy. That shit was mad. Yo. Let's keep watching, bro. You know damn well I ain't gotta say nothing. You know what the fuck you did? Don't act like this. Yeah. Do a little dumb smile. Yeah, okay, all right.
You know what? You're only mad because that shit popped up in your head. But I was brave enough to say it.
No, it didn't pop up in my head.
Make my way downtown.
It didn't pop up in my head. But once you said it, I could hear it. So
okay, yeah. You could hear it, so I'm not crazy.
Okay.
You could hear it, so I'm not crazy.
All right, let's keep watching.
No, hold on. The thing that happened is that it's my ADD, all right? When shit is too long, my brain wanders off. So I don't know what this thing, how long are we at?
We gotta watch this. I know, your mind wanders. So do your thing.
Okay, I'll do my thing.
And it's been hard, especially with mom and dad, because before I would just talk to them because I had no one else. But now with all the divorce stuff, there's stuff I can't talk to them about, and I have no one, and Travis and Kyle are too emotional, and I can't talk to anyone. I just look at myself and I don't know. I'm wasting all these days. I just feel so lonely. I'm just so lonely all the time. But I'm also terrified of it, and I also want to be alone. Like, maybe I'm just meant to be alone?
No, I think your video is obviously a cry for help. I don't think you're meant to be alone.
But you gotta put the effort.
I think, listen, this is something that's becoming more and more common for us nowadays. Mm-hmm. As we live online more, we spend more times on our phones, less times outside, less time engaging in real life activities. It's harder for people to build those kinds of connections, where you used to do certain stuff, you go to the park, everyone go to the same spots. Now we're so online that we're, having friends in Budapest while we live in Hungary, or we live in Siberia, or whatever it might be. Like, just people have friends all over, and it's like made in-person friendships a lot more difficult. 1, 2, it's also just made people have a harder time connecting with people in a very powerful way. Because I think friendships generally get deeper and stronger as you're able to share things with people, go through things with them. Sometimes you fall out, you fall back in, but you need to have things that tie you together. And nowadays we just have everything, all the tools at our disposal to disconnect rather than make it super easy to connect. Does that make sense? Like, it's just so easy. You just delete people from your friend group. You'll never see them again if you don't want to. You're not going out as often because, like, who wants to go out? You just stay at home, watch Netflix, blah, blah, blah. So I just think the way we have society set up, it's very easy to cut people out, which sounds odd because we live in a time of ultimate connectivity. Mm-hmm. But the kind of connectivity we're generally discussing are very shallow bonds. So I sympathize with her because I think being lonely is super sad. I think for most people who live that life, it negatively impacts them, as shows the study. So do I think she's meant to be alone? Probably not. I don't think most people are. And I hope for her that stuff gets fixed because I don't wish that on anybody. I know what life is like for me when I don't have my friends around or when I don't get, honestly, if you have good friends, good quality friends, spending time with them is like sometimes the highlight of your week. Y'all sit down, you're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about all the other stress, y'all chopping it up, sharing references about different things, bringing up memories you haven't thought of, getting catting up on people you care about. It's like its own little web drama that you're involved in. And it's so outside of your day-to-day, it's so refreshing to just be able to kick it and have like-minded people kind of soundboard things off of you and talk about things. So, I don't know, for me, I think people should seek that out. I think it's very healthy for people. I know it's been very, very healthy for me, so I hope she finds that. And I don't know, I just want to commend her for being both vulnerable, being introspective, being critical of herself, and then also just being very raw about everything. So that's what I want to say.
Well, you said something about the communication era. We are in a communication era. The thing with that is that the easier something becomes, the more we take it for granted.
Okay.
Right? For a certain time, first, we just use it. And then after that, we're like, oh, yeah, that thing is there if I want to. Remember emails? The first time that we wanted emails, we were like, oh, my God, this is the greatest thing. And then we got an email, and then we were super excited about it until we get like a bunch of ads all day and everything and stuff. We just take it for granted. Like, we have so many things and apps to communicate, but we take it for granted because we can do it so easily.
True.
It's easy to do. Like, it is about, on your phone, there's about 10 to 15 ways to communicate with someone. Absolutely. Including your phone. That is, you use it to phone people. So there's that, but we also take it for granted. It's easy to do, so you postpone it for later. And it kind of puts the effort. It's easy to do, but
it's easy to do, but it's not easy to do.
It's easy to do, but because it's easy to do, we don't think about it, we put it over there.
I actually think because it's easy to do, it's hard to do.
Yes.
Because it's not rewarding.
No.
And so you have to muster up the energy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why am I doing this thing that's not rewarding?
There's
when I can scroll TikTok, when I can do all this other bunch of bullshit that's not really, but it affects you mentally.
It is rewarding.
I literally had to teach myself.
It is rewarding.
Going
on TikTok or whatever,
yes.
because it gives you endorphins and stuff like that and blah, blah, whatever, whatnot.
But not in a meaningful way.
Yes, but the drugs and the endorphin that it releases is actually more addictive than whatever it is to communicate with people. So that's the problem that we have, and that's the loop that we have. And then you said something as well that is, even though we're in the era of communication, back then, we needed to live in community, whether it was for protection, whether it was just to you have to go. I can't be a farmer and just grow my stuff. I need to buy other stuff, so I need to go to the market and interact with people. Now I can order all that stuff out. Before, you kind of had you had to, when you were a hermit, you made a corporate decision to live without people. You refuted people. You made a decision to go out there and live alone. That was a diss to the rest of the people then. You know what I mean? So now it's not really that much hard. So you have to make an extra effort because that being alone is right there. Okay, you don't need those people that much. So you do have to make an effort right there. And that's the reason why it is harder. So even though we are in the communication era, we have those apps, but it is kind of harder because we take that shit for granted.
Absolutely. I'll say this. So this is my suggestions to folks watching if you're struggling with a lot of this. I only really have two suggestions that I can really think of.
Go ahead.
One is you have to make the effort even if you don't want to so that you can learn to make that a habit. I find it easy to message my mom today because I've been making an effort for the last 3 to 4 years. But sometimes back in the day, I used to not message my mom for months, and it would be normal to me. Not because I think it's a good thing. It was just the way I developed my habits. And I had to do that with the people in my life as well. I had to learn to be like, yo, let me just check in on these people because I love them. And I just, I'm going to do it right now. I'm not going to postpone it. And I think in doing that, I started developing better habits. And now I message regularly. My mom appreciates it. And some of the people in my life appreciate it too. So I think it's like something you have to push yourself to do to build that. The same way you have to push yourself to start going to the gym and make it a habit. If you want it to really be ingrained, you have to do that with other things in your life. If you don't, the things that you think are supposed to just happen will never happen. You're not just magically going to get into shape if you don't show up to work out on a regular basis. It's just not going to happen. So that'd be suggestion number one. Push yourself to do it. It could be small little things. You can start it once a week, once every 2 weeks. But if that's substantially better than what the fuck you're doing now, do it. Okay? Because you really have no excuse. You're spending all your day on other social media apps looking at bullshit, looking at titties, some random dances, some dumb fucking videos. Like if you love these people, it requires a bit of devotion. It requires a bit of labor. And if you're not willing to do the modicum of labor that it costs, can you really claim that you really love these people? It's something to question a little bit in terms of your actions. Maybe internally and mentally you really feel that way, but sometimes your actions don't align with what it is that you're saying and you're doing. So just think about that. Because I know you guys, if you were in a relationship with somebody, didn't matter who it was, and you told that woman or that man, I'm in love with you, okay? And they say the same, but they never responded to your text messages or took months, I think you would doubt them. I think you would. I'm not saying you need the same level of devotion in a relationship that you need to your friendships, but there should be some measure of like semblance. It shouldn't be like night and day. It shouldn't be, I message my partner, but I never reply to my friends. Or I talk to my friends once a year only. It's like, now some friendships are built like that. Some people, they have their families and so, but I'm saying if you're suffering from that sense of loneliness and not having those people in your life and you want that and you're not doing those steps, for me it's a little bit bizarre. That's one. And two.
That was 2, so I guess that's 3 now.
What was 2? No, it's all 1, right? The make effort.
No, you said, and secondly.
I think I just went back to the first point.
Oh, okay, cool.
But 2, what I was going to say is if you're finding hard to even find people to connect with, you have to find the things that make you connect to people. Some people, it's their shared past experience of being in high school together and going to college together, being from the same neighborhood. If you don't have those experiences, then you have to find the hobbies and the things that intersect between you and other people. If it's not proximity, it's got to be interests. Why? Because these things help bond you guys. Going through things, going through classes, going through activities, tournaments, whatever the fuck it is. Like, how many people do I know who go play pickup basketball on a regular basis or have like intramural tournaments and stuff like that? And the people on their team they go grab beers with afterwards and start to build friendships from there. Maybe not everyone on the team, but a few of them. Like, those activities bond you. You need things to gel you to people. And if you don't have it with history and proximity in terms of like where y'all live or what kind of work y'all did, then you have to do things. And that's the ways you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You have to make the effort. Sometimes, you have to grab your shit and, making your way downtown and make friends.
There you go. All right, so we're not going to play the rest of the video, but if you guys want to find it, it's in the description.
And now I wonder